20 years of loyal service. One missing painting. That's all it took to destroy a diplomat's entire life in North Korea's surveillance state. When a propaganda piece disappeared from the Moscow embassy, the Boibu didn't investigate the theft, they investigated him, his wife, and even confiscated his 14-year-old daughter's sketchbook as evidence. Today you'll hear how a father chose between returning to Pyongyang for judgment or risking everything for his daughter's freedom. This is the story of a man who served the regime faithfully, only to realize that in North Korea, loyalty means nothing when someone needs to take the blame. If these stories matter to you, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. Your support helps us bring these untold stories to light. Together, we can be a voice for those who cannot speak. I'd been working at the Moscow embassy for over 20 years. Diplomat sounds impressive, I know. But really, I was just another salaried worker. I managed exhibition materials, gave tours when foreign guests visited, and handled logistics for events. I was from Pyongyang, so my Korean was decent, but that didn't mean I held any real power. My wife had it better. She worked in cultural exchange, did interpretation, met with foreigners. She spoke Russian well. I stuck to what I needed. She conversed naturally with outsiders. At first, I admired that. Later, it made me uneasy. Our daughter was 14, born in Moscow, raised in Moscow. She attended the Korean school but had a few Russian friends. At home, she liked drawing in her sketchbook, just like I did growing up in Pyongyang. Dad, look at this. When she showed me her notebook, I always said the same thing. Nice. Did you finish your homework? My wife would laugh. You never really praise her. I just did. I said it was nice. That's not praise. That's just acknowledging. Those ordinary exchanges were our evenings. Embassy work was monotonous. Clock in at 8, clean the exhibition hall, check the paintings on the walls, organize paperwork. That was it. Sometimes new materials arrived from Pyongyang. Installing those was part of my job too. Most of the paintings were propaganda pieces. The great leader, the dear leader, images celebrating our system's superiority. When guests came, I'd explain them. Honestly, I never saw them as art. They were just things I had to hang. When did this painting arrive? When officials from Pyongyang asked, I'd flip through the ledger. Last May. Maintenance up to standard? Yes, regular inspections. 20 years like that. I thought about my mother in Pyongyang sometimes. Before I left for Moscow, she took my hand. You're going far, but you're serving the homeland. I'm proud. I nodded. I believed it then. My mother had fled south during the Korean War, then returned north. She spent her whole life believing our country is the best. I was raised the same way. At least that's how it was back then. Weekends, I'd walk through Moscow with my daughter. Near Red Square, she'd ask questions. Dad, do we have places like this? There's Kim Il-sung Square in Pyongyang. Is it this big? Yeah, bigger. That wasn't a lie. Kim Il-sung Square was massive. I just didn't mention how freely people could move around there. My wife met with foreign acquaintances sometimes, people she knew through work. One was a woman named Sophie who worked at the French Cultural Center. They'd have tea occasionally. I'm meeting Sophie today. Again? It's work. The exhibition collaboration. I'd nod. But something about it bothered me. Getting too close to foreigners, nothing good could come of that. That evening, my daughter was drawing again. What are you working on? Flowers? I looked at her notebook. Not vibrant blooms. Wilted flowers. Why draw dying flowers? They're prettier, sad, but beautiful. I didn't say anything. It was just a drawing. But looking back, that was the beginning. My daughter's sketch, a propaganda painting on the embassy wall, our ordinary family life. I had no idea it was all about to collapse. It was a Monday. Over the weekend, Russian cultural officials had visited the embassy. I gave the usual tour, explained the paintings. No problems. Monday morning, I did my routine inspection. Then I froze. The wall at the end of the corridor was empty. A propaganda painting had hung there. The great leader inspecting a farm. About 1 meter wide, 80 centimeters tall. Gold frame. Ordinary propaganda piece. It was gone. I looked around. Not on the floor. No signs it had been moved. Just the empty hook on the wall. What the? My stomach dropped. In 20 years, not a single exhibition piece had ever gone missing. As the person responsible, this was on me. I rushed to my colleagues. Did anyone remove this painting over the weekend? What painting? The leader's farm inspection. End of the corridor. They shook their heads. We didn't touch it. I asked the cleaning staff. Did you move any paintings while cleaning? No. I just mopped the floors. No one knew anything. I reported to my superior. The counselor. Comrade, what's wrong? One of the exhibition paintings. It's missing. His face hardened. Missing? What do you mean? It hasn't been seen since the weekend event. No signs of theft. No record of it being moved. CCTV? There's no CCTV in the exhibition hall. Only in the corridors. The counselor went silent. Then in a low voice. Keep this quiet for now. Search again before we report to Pyongyang. Yes. I spent the entire day searching every corner of the embassy. Storage rooms, offices, even the bathrooms. The painting didn't turn up. When I got home, my wife noticed. What's wrong? You look terrible. I trust in the. It's nothing. Don't lie. Something happened. I exhaled. A painting went missing at the embassy. A painting? Which one? Propaganda piece. The leader's farm inspection. Her expression changed. She understood what this meant. A pre-era? Stolen? I don't know. No trace of anything. It just vanished. It's not your fault. You did your job. Will that matter? My wife had no answer. In the North, results were everything. The process didn't matter. When something went wrong, someone paid. And that someone was usually at the bottom. I couldn't sleep that night. Lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, I thought of my mother. When she sent me off from Pyongyang, she said, be careful. Don't make mistakes. I'd tried. For 20 years. And now this? Questions looped in my head. Who took it during the weekend event? The Russian officials? Someone from our side? Or was it just misplaced somewhere? No answers came. 3 days later, the counselor called me in. Pyongyang's been notified. Yes, an investigation team is coming. The word sent ice through my veins. Investigation team. That meant the Boibu State Security. When? Within the week. The counselor looked at me. I couldn't tell if it was sympathy or warning in his eyes. Comrade, prepare yourself. They won't just investigate the painting. The Boibu looks at people, not incidents. You know that. I nodded. That evening, my daughter was drawing. Dad, look. I drew a bird today. In the notebook, a bird flew beyond iron bars. Why is the bird behind bars? It was trapped. But now it's escaping. Free. I stared at that drawing. Freedom. The word felt strange. My wife came from the kitchen. Dinner's ready. Okay. We ate like a normal family. But inside, cracks were forming. One missing painting. My entire life shaking. And I still didn't know. This was just the beginning. A week later, they arrived. 3 Boibu investigators. Mid-40s, expressionless. Direct from Pyongyang. You're the exhibition manager? Yes. Explain what happened. I went through it all. The weekend event. Monday morning discovery. The search. Everything, step by step. The team leader nodded, taking notes. Do you have the visitor list from that weekend? Yes, here. I handed over the documents. He scanned the names. 15 Russian officials. How long were they in the exhibition hall? About an hour. Supervision? I was with them the entire time. And yet the painting disappeared? Yes. His eyes turned cold. You were with them, and something went missing. Does that make sense? I don't understand it either. It was right there. Is your eyesight the problem, or your management? I had no response. The investigation shifted from the painting to me. How long have you worked here? 20 years. Family? A wife and daughter. Your wife's job? Cultural exchange. Same embassy. Your daughter? 14. Attend the Korean school. The team leader made more notes. Your wife has frequent contact with foreigners? Required for her work. What kind of foreigners? Russian cultural officials. European Cultural Center staff. Any personal relationships? I hesitated. Sophie came to mind. Asuri, Wanarimon. One from the French Cultural Center. Name? Sophie. How often do they meet? 2 or 3 times a month. He nodded, but suspicion filled his expression. On the second day, they came to our apartment. Family environment assessment, they called it. Really, it was a search. They went through everything. Living room, bedroom, kitchen, even my daughter's room. What's this? One investigator picked up the notebook on my daughter's desk. Her sketchbook. My daughter's drawings. She draws? Yes, as a hobby. He flipped through the pages, stopped at one, the drawing from last week. The bird escaping the cage. What is this? Just a bird. Why the bars? It's her imagination. Just a drawing. He took the notebook. We'll hold on to this. But we'll return it. Don't worry. My daughter's muffled crying reached me. My wife held her. I clenched my fists. Powerless. On the third day, the questions got more specific. Your daughter's school performance isn't strong? It's average. Ideological subjects? Also average. Average meaning what? Excellent or ordinary? Ordinary. The team leader shook his head. A diplomat's child scoring ordinary in ideology. Doesn't that seem odd? She's young. She'll improve. Later, now is the problem. They demanded phone records. Embassy phone. My personal phone? Even my wife's. Everything. Your wife calls this Sophie woman frequently. Work discussions. Why use personal phones for work? Asked Suri. Wana Rimon. Convenience. Convenience. You people love that word. I stayed quiet. Anything I said would be twisted. On the fourth evening, the team leader pulled me aside. Be honest. About what? The painting. Do you really not know? Or did someone tell you to remove it? I have no idea. I want to find it too. Your family has foreign contacts. Your daughter is ideologically unstable. Important materials go missing at the embassy. You think that's coincidence? My blood ran cold. You're saying it's not? We don't believe in coincidence. He stood. We'll continue the investigation. Prepare yourself. That night, the truth hit me. This wasn't about finding the painting. It was about finding someone to blame. And that someone had already been chosen. Me, my wife whispered. What's going to happen? Asked Suri. Wana Rimon. I don't know. What about our daughter? Why did they take her notebook? I'm sorry. Sorry isn't. She couldn't finish. Her head dropped. I looked out the window. Moscow's night was quiet. My mind was a storm. One painting. My life collapsing. No, it wasn't about the painting. It was the system. Suspicion, surveillance, sacrifice. That's when I understood. 20 years. Everything I believed. 1 week into the investigation, the counselor called me in. Pyongyang sent word. Asked Suri. Wana Rimon. What did they say? You and your family are to return home. The word stopped my heart. When? Next Friday. Tickets are booked. Return. That word didn't just mean going back. It meant judgment. Missing embassy materials. Foreign contacts. An ideologically unstable daughter. What would happen if we returned to Pyongyang with that record? I knew the answer. Re-education camp. Or worse. That night, my wife and I sat across from each other. Our daughter was asleep in her room. We kept our voices low. They're sending us to Pyongyang. Asked Suri. Wana Rimon. When? Next Friday. Her face went white. What happens then? I don't know, but it won't be good. What did we do wrong? The painting wasn't your fault. That doesn't matter there. Someone has to take the blame. And it's always the weakest person. My wife said nothing for a while. Then quietly, asked Suri. Wana Rimon. Have you ever thought about defecting? I looked at her. Yes. Since when? Since they took our daughter's notebook. I spoke honestly. I can accept my punishment. I can go to Pyongyang and face whatever comes. But not our daughter. She did nothing wrong. Why should she become the child of a political criminal? Tears welled in my wife's eyes. I've been thinking the same thing. But how? We're in Russia. To defect. There's a way. I lowered my voice further. Sophie. My wife's eyes widened. Sophie, would she help us? I don't know. But we have to try. It's dangerous. If she refuses, we still have to try. I took my wife's hand. Think about our daughter. What happens to her in Pyongyang? The daughter of a failed diplomat, an ideologically unstable student. Can we let her live with those labels forever? My wife nodded. Asked Suri. Wana Rimon. Okay, let's do it. The next day, my wife met Sophie. I stayed at the embassy. My wife had tea with Sophie at a cafe. 2 hours later, she returned. Her face was flushed. What happened? She'll help. Really? Yes. But there's a condition. What? We have to do it at the airport, right before we board the Pyongyang flight. I nodded. That makes sense. Surveillance is too tight at the embassy. Sophie will book third country tickets. We change our route at the airport. Where to? Paris. From there we go to the South Korean embassy. I exhaled. The plan was simple, but dangerous. There would be a minder at the airport. Missing the Pyongyang flight would trigger immediate pursuit. But there was no other option. When do we tell our daughter? Right before we leave. If she knows too early, she won't be able to hide it. Asked Suri. Wana Rimon. You're right. 1 week felt too short. I worked at the embassy as usual. To avoid suspicion, the investigation team was still there, watching me closely. You're leaving soon? Yes. We'll see you in Pyongyang. Asuri, Wanarimon. Yes. I tried to stay calm. Inside cold sweat. Thursday night, I packed. Couldn't take much. It would look suspicious. A few clothes for my daughter. Some cosmetics for my wife. A few of my documents. Inside the papers was a photo of my mother. My mother in Pyongyang. I'd never see her again. I stared at the photo. Mother, I'm sorry. Your son is about to fail you. But I had no regrets. My mother protected her child. I would protect mine. That's what parents do. Friday morning, my daughter asked, Dad, are we really going to Pyongyang today? Yes. How long will we be there? Asked Suri. Wanarimon. I don't know. Her face fell. I don't want to leave my Russian friends. I stroked her hair. It'll be okay. Everything will work out. My wife came from the kitchen, signaling with her eyes. Ready? At 10 an embassy car arrived. One investigator came along. To watch us. In the car, I looked out the window. Moscow streets. 20 years of familiarity. I'd never see them again. The closer we got to the airport, the faster my heart pounded. This was it. A life or death choice. We arrived at the airport at 11. The Pyongyang flight left at 2 p.m. 3 hours. That's all we had. The investigator spoke. After check-in, I'll escort you to the gate. Asuri, Wanarimon. Okay. I pulled my luggage into the terminal. My wife followed with our daughter. Our daughter still didn't know. She thought we were going to Pyongyang. We stood at the air cargo counter. The agent asked for our passports. I handed over all three. Flight to Pyongyang? Yes. Just as the agent started to issue tickets, my wife spoke. Wait. The agent paused. Yes, sir, sonch. Can we use the restroom? My daughter needs to go. The investigator narrowed his eyes. Now? Yes. She can't wait. He hesitated, then nodded. Make it quick. I'll wait here. My wife took our daughter to the restroom. I stood next to the investigator. My palms were sweating. This was the plan. When my wife and daughter came out, we'd slip over to the Air France counter, pick up the Paris tickets Sophie had reserved, head straight to the departure gates. But if the investigator stayed glued to us, it was impossible. 10 minutes passed. The investigator grew restless. Why is this taking so long? My daughter might have an upset stomach. I'll check. Just as he started toward the restroom, an airport announcement came over the speakers. Passenger Kim Cheol-soo, please come to the air choreo counter. My name. Well, a fake name. The investigator turned. That announcement. That's not me. Must be someone with the same name. In that moment, I saw my wife and daughter emerge from the restroom. My wife's eyes signaled. Now. I spoke to the investigator. I need the restroom too. Now, finish check-in first. It's urgent. Just a moment. I walked quickly. The investigator followed, but I turned toward where my wife and daughter were. Where are you going? My daughter. Suddenly, my wife grabbed our daughter and ran to the Air France counter. The investigator shouted, Stop. I ran too. People in the airport turned to stare. I didn't stop. The Air France agent quickly handed over the tickets. Sophie had prepared them. Go now. We sprinted toward the departure gates. Behind us, the investigator's voice. Stop them, those people. Security guards rushed toward us, but we'd already reached the gates. Once past passport control, they couldn't follow. Hurry! I scooped up my daughter. She was crying. Dad, what's happening? I'll explain later. Just listen to me now. We reached passport control. The Russian officer checked our documents. Behind us, the investigator was shouting, Those people are North Korean criminals. Stop them. The officer looked at me. I spoke calmly. We're flying to Paris. We have valid tickets. He checked the tickets, stamped our passports. You may proceed. We entered the departure area. The investigator stood outside, helpless. He couldn't enter. I finally breathed. My wife collapsed against a wall. Asuri, Wanarimon. We did it. Our daughter looked up. Dad, we're not going to Pyongyang? I held her close. No, we're going somewhere else. Where? Somewhere free. She didn't understand, but I knew. She would soon. What we'd chosen, what we'd left behind. The Paris flight departed at 3 p.m. Through the window, Moscow disappeared below. 20 years in that city. I pulled out my mother's photo. Mother, I'm sorry, but I had to protect my daughter. In the photo, my mother was smiling. I tucked it close to my chest, closed my eyes. There was no going back, only forward. The plane landed at Charles de Gaulle Airport at 5 p.m. local time. We passed through immigration. The French officer glanced at our passports, stamped them without a word. Welcome. That single word felt strange. Welcome. Did we deserve that? Outside the terminal, cold air hit my face. Paris in winter. My daughter asked, Dad, what are we doing here? We need to go to the South Korean embassy. South Korea? Why? I looked into her eyes. We're going to South Korea now. What about Pyongyang? We're not going. Tears filled her eyes. What about Grandma? We can't see her? I had no answer. My wife held our daughter. It's okay. Everything will be okay. But it wasn't okay. We left everything in Pyongyang. Our home, our relatives, my mother. Sophie was waiting outside the airport. You made it. My wife embraced her. Thank you. Thank you so much. Sophie drove us to a friend's apartment on the outskirts of Paris. A small studio, but clean. Stay here for 2 days. The embassy opens Monday. I'll take you there in the morning. We're so grateful. Sophie smiled and left. When the door closed, we collapsed. Our daughter was crying. My wife stared out the window, blank. I opened our bag to check what we had. A few clothes, some money, my mother's photo. That was it. 20 years in Moscow. This was all that remained. We needed to eat, but no one had an appetite. My daughter spoke. Dad, why did we run? I sat beside her. We didn't run. We came here to survive. What do you mean? If we went to Pyongyang, things would be hard. For me, for your mother, for you. Why? How could I explain? Political criminal, re-education camp. How do you tell a 14-year-old? You'll understand when you're older. For now, just trust me. She nodded. But the tears didn't stop. That night, I couldn't sleep. Through the window, Paris lights glowed. A free city. But to me, it felt alien and frightening. What if they were tracking us? What if the investigator had reported this? What if they'd sent someone here? Every possibility churned in my mind. My wife whispered beside me. Can't sleep? No. Me neither. We lay in silence. Do you regret it? She asked. Siwon. No. Really? When I think about our daughter, no. If we'd gone to Pyongyang, her life would be over. But your mother, I stared at the ceiling. She'll understand. She raised a child too. Parents protect their children. My wife squeezed my hand. Saturday and Sunday dragged. We didn't leave the apartment, afraid of running into North Koreans. Our daughter ate the snacks Sophie brought, looked out the window. Paris is pretty. Yeah? Yeah. But it's scary. Why? Because I don't know this place. I put my arm around her. It'll be okay. Once we get to South Korea, it'll be fine. What's South Korea like? Siwon. I've never been, but I hear it's free. What's freedom? I thought for a moment. Doing what you want, drawing what you want, saying what you want. She tilted her head. And now? Now. We couldn't do that. She nodded. Monday morning, Sophie returned. Ready? Yes. We drove to the South Korean embassy. In the car, I gripped my hands tight. One more step. Just get inside the embassy. We'd be protected. The building came into view. The Taguki South Korea's flag fluttered in the wind. Tears stung my eyes. The same people's flag. A flag that would protect us. We're here, Sophie said. I took my wife and daughter's hands. Let's go. We opened the embassy doors. Inside the lobby, a security guard approached. How can I help you? My voice caught. We're from the north. Defectors. His expression softened. I see. Please wait a moment. He made a call. Soon a staff member appeared. This way, please. We were led to a consultation room. Warm tea and snacks appeared. Our daughter looked at the snacks hesitantly. Can I eat these? The staff member smiled. Of course. Help yourself. That tone, so warm, not commanding. Inviting. The staff member sat across from us. I'm Kim Min-soo, consular officer. Please take your time and tell me what happened. I explained everything. Working at the Moscow embassy. The missing painting. The Boibu investigation. The airport escape. Officer Kim nodded, listening. That must have been incredibly difficult. Siwon. Yes. I'm glad you all made it safely. Those words broke me. Glad. I couldn't remember the last time I'd heard that. In the north, everything was expected or insufficient. Here they said glad. Officer Kim pulled out some forms. To get to South Korea, we'll need to process a few things. First, identity verification. Then we'll issue temporary travel documents. How long will that take? About a week. We'll provide accommodation nearby in the meantime. Thank you so much. No need to thank me. We're the same people. The same people. Those words hit deep. We moved to lodging near the embassy. A small hotel. Clean and warm. My daughter lay on the bed. This is nice. Yeah? Yeah. It's soft. My wife smiled. From now on, we'll only sleep in good places. That evening, embassy staff brought Korean food. Bibimbap, kimchi jjigae, bulgogi. Foods I'd never tasted. Please try it. Korean food. My daughter took a bite of bibimbap. It's delicious. I tried a spoonful. The spicy gochujang. The nutty sesame oil. The crisp vegetables. Flavor exploded in my mouth. This is incredible. Eat well. In South Korea, there's much more. That night, I slept peacefully for the first time. No fear of pursuit. No anxiety of surveillance. Over the next week, we went through the process. Identity checks, interviews, paperwork. Officer Kim explained everything patiently. In South Korea, you'll go to Hanwon, an adaptation center. About 3 months of training. Hanwon? Yes. A settlement support facility for North Korean defectors. It helps you adjust to South Korean society. And after that, you'll receive housing support, living expenses, job placement assistance. I couldn't believe it. In the North, the party pretended to provide everything but gave nothing. Here, they actually helped. Why do all this for us? Officer Kim smiled. Because we're the same people. And you chose freedom. That courage deserves respect. Chose freedom. I'd never thought of it that way. I thought we'd just run, but he called it a choice. My daughter drew pictures at the lodging. Officer Kim had bought her paper and colored pencils. What are you drawing? South Korea. How do you know what it looks like? I'm imagining. It's free, right? Her drawing showed blooming flowers and birds in flight. No more wilted flowers. No more caged birds. A week later, our travel documents were ready. Congratulations. You can go to South Korea now. Officer Kim handed over the papers. I held them, staring. Republic of Korea travel certificate. Our new beginning. When do we leave? Tomorrow afternoon? Flight to Incheon. Siwon. Thank you. For everything. Go well. I hope you thrive in South Korea. He offered his hand. I shook it. Warm. The hand of the same people. That night we packed. We hadn't brought much anyway. But we still organized. My daughter asked, Dad, will I go to school in South Korea? Of course. Can I make friends? Absolutely. Can I draw? You can do whatever you want. She smiled. The brightest smile I'd ever seen from her. The next afternoon we headed to the airport. Sophie came to see us off. Safe travels. Be happy in South Korea. My wife hugged her. Thank you. I'll never forget you. We boarded the flight to Incheon. Through the window, Paris faded below. I pulled out my mother's photo. Mother, this is truly the end. I'm going to live as a South Korean now. The plane soared toward freedom. When the plane touched down at Incheon Airport, I looked out the window. South Korea, the land of the same people, but completely unfamiliar. Past immigration, a government official greeted us. Welcome. You've been through so much. My wife's voice broke. Thank you. We took a bus to Hanwon. The landscape outside was shocking. Tall buildings, packed streets, even at night, blazing lights. My daughter gasped. Wow, everything's lit up. Yeah. Is Pyongyang like this? Siwon. No. Pyongyang's nights were dark. No electricity to spare. We arrived at Hanwon around 11 p.m. A staff member showed us to our quarters. Training starts tomorrow. You'll spend 3 months learning to adapt to South Korean society. Understood. That night, I slept on South Korean soil for the first time. My homeland after 20 years. Actually, it was the first time. I was born in the north, raised in Pyongyang, then went to Moscow. Now I had to live as a South Korean. Life at Hanwon was full of surprises. Computer classes, Korean language classes, democracy education. Everything felt awkward at first. We vote, us? The instructor smiled. Yes, you elect the president, National Assembly members, everyone. And whoever we choose becomes president? That's right. The people are sovereign. The people are sovereign. In the north, the party was sovereign. Here, it was the people. My daughter attended Hanwon school. At first, kids teased her accent. Why do you talk like that? She came home crying. Dad, they say I talk weird. I held her. It's okay. You'll get used to it soon. Really? Yeah. I'm learning too. After a month, we started adjusting. I could buy things at convenience stores. My wife could ride the subway. Our daughter made a friend. Dad, I played with Sujin today. She let me borrow her colored pencils. That's great. She started drawing again. This time, scenes from school. Her and her friends smiling together. Beautiful. Thanks, Dad. 3 months later, we graduated from Hanawan. The government provided an apartment, a small place in Gyeonggi province. But to us, it was a palace. Honey, this is really ours? Yes. It's really ours? Yeah. Our home. My wife cried. Her whole life in embassy housing. Now, her own home for the first time. I found work. Started washing dishes at a restaurant. A former diplomat washing dishes, my mother would be shocked. But I wasn't ashamed. It was money earned honestly. My wife worked at a supermarket. Our daughter attended school. An ordinary family's life. The ordinary life we couldn't have in the North. A year passed. Our daughter had become completely South Korean. Her accent, her clothes, her dreams. Dad, I want to be an art teacher. Why? I love drawing. I want to teach other kids too. I hugged her. That's a wonderful dream. Make it happen. Okay, I think about Pyongyang sometimes. How is my mother? How shocked was she when I disappeared? Is she suffering under guilt by association? But I can't go back. For my daughter's future. One Sunday afternoon, I went to the park with my daughter. She sat on a bench drawing. What are you working on? Family. In the picture, 3 people held hands. Me, my wife, and our daughter. It's beautiful. Dad, I'm happy. Serenity or Kurnon. Yeah, Mira. Yeah. I really like it here. I stroked her hair. Me too. I looked up. Birds flew across the sky. No cages. Just freedom. I thought of the painting that had hung in the embassy. One missing painting. Our entire lives changed. Maybe that painting was fate, leading us here. My daughter asked, Dad, if there's reunification, can we see Grandma? Surnimin Soin. I hope so. When will that happen? I don't know. But someday, while we're still alive, then I'll show Grandma my drawings. She'd love that. The sun was setting. We went home. Our small but warm home. That evening, I took my mother's photo from an old bag. Mother, we're doing well. Don't worry. In the photo, my mother was still smiling. I put the photo in a frame, hung it on the wall. Just as one painting changed our lives, this single photo would watch over us. Freedom is heavy. The weight of choice. The weight of responsibility. The weight of longing. But I have no regrets. Every time I see my daughter smile, I'm certain we made the right choice.